Hi everyone, and welcome back to Venus Rising Tarot. You're with me, your girl Venus, and today's video is all about spirit guide messages for the upcoming year. So this is a timeless reading, so whenever you find it, the messages will be applied. So by year, I mean the next 12 months, so it doesn't have to be the next calendar year. It's just basically what sort of messages spirit has for you coming up. So today we've got three piles to choose from. So I'm going to show you a close-up of the crystals in a sec, but the breakdown of today's reading is I've pre-shuffled some oracle cards to try and get a sense of what the messages are that spirit has for you in the upcoming 12 months. And then we will go into the tarot to get a little bit more details. There might be some timing that comes out, but we will see that when we get into the piles. So without further ado, we have pile one with the hematite. We have pile two with the clear crystal, clear quartz. And we have pile three with the malachite. So as always, feel free to pause the video and take as much time as you need to select your piles. And without further ado, I will see you in your reading. Hi, pile one. Welcome to your reading. You chose the hematite, and it will focus. There we go. So today's reading is all about spirit guide messages for the upcoming 12 months. Or the upcoming years. So again, timeless reading. The messages will apply for the 12-month period or the year from now. And I really just wanted to keep this as open as possible to let whatever messages needed to find you come find you today. And without further ado, let's get into your oracle cards. So we've got Show the World the Real You, Full Moon in Aquarius. We have Deep Replenishment, Rest, Retreat, Rest, Be Held. I like that. And then we have Alarisha Star, Super 7, Direction. This is a crystal deck. I've never heard of this crystal before, but it looks gorgeous. So immediately what is coming to mind as an important time frame is when the full moon in Aquarius is, or no, I'm just gonna say with a full moon in Aquarius. Actually, it feels like Aquarius season and when the full moon is in Aquarius. So if you're watching it right around the time, let me not do that because I want this to be timeless. So I would look up when the full moon is going to be in Aquarius next as an important time frame and an important month, and then also the upcoming Aquarius season. So if you're watching this when the video is uploaded, we're in Aquarius season right now. Hi, my air sign babies. So that'll be applicable for the season we're in now as being an important time period, as well as when the full moon is next in Aquarius. So what I have as a main message is authenticity is going to be what guides you throughout the next year. Um, so in deep replenishment and rest and be housed, thinking in terms of spirit family and soul family connections, which is very much like 11th house, very much Aquarian vibes, to be honest. So having some soul family reunions coming up, but also having some reunions with those who really bring you back to a sense of self, and spirit is sort of urging you. Because I think sometimes we think that there's a version of ourselves that we need to be, whether or not that's us putting on a mask or being like, oh, if I present this way or, hold this part of myself back, then it'll be easier for me to fit in and, like assimilate or integrate. And what spirit is really asking you to do is none of that. Really, when you step into the right or your most authentic self, then spirit can help to facilitate those soul family reunions, because then you'll be in alignment with those people and those souls who are most aligned with you, so that you can be held. And what I will do is, because I love this crystal deck, but I have to be very honest, I don't really use it that often. So I just want to have a quick read of the guidance. Where is your true north? We are all in search of what sets our souls on fire, and a way to find your spiritual direction is to go through the shamanic medicine wheel. To the east is where you feel success and experience victories. To the north is where you'll learn survival and where you will experience hardship and sadness. To the west, you will experience transformation and the end of a cycle. To the south, you will receive abundance and learn lessons about your courage and strength. You will experience birth, life, death, and rebirth as it is in your divine right and sacred path. What will you learn along the way? Set your signs in Alrisha, the brightest star in the constellation of Pisces. Alrisha means knot in Arabic and indicates the link that connects the two fish of the Pisces constellations together. This knot is also a representation of connecting your human experience and your divine self. Harnessing the energy of a Super 7 crystal will aid you in each direction you head on your spiritual journey. Super 7 is a combination of 7 crystals: amethyst, clear quartz, smoky quartz, rutilated quartz, geothite, cacoxenite, and lepidocrite, that create the metaphysical properties of each crystal, making it a healing and energetic powerhouse. A Super 7 crystal would raise the vibrational frequency for humanity and heal Mother Earth. Super 7 helps you type into your intuitive and psychic abilities, so you're able to connect with other light beings in order to raise a collective vibration. So, I really like that, and that was really sort of like aligned with the messages I was getting initially. So Spirit's really calling you to be in line with your authentic self, and your authentic self, as I often like to think of it, is like the merger between your 3D and your 5D self. So aligning in terms of like your highest self and your highest good. And if you do collect crystals, I think that there maybe like Super 7 is calling out to you. So if you can't find a Super 7 crystal, then maybe getting 7 of those crystals that, were listed in the description, um, to harness that energetic power. I think that's really what's going to be supporting you in the upcoming year. Okay, with that being said, I want to pull some tarot for you. So I will be pulling reversals. Okay. What are the messages? Okay. Let's see. So you've got the Five of Wands in reverse with the Five of Pentacles. Those two came out together. You have the Justice card in reverse. You've got the Three of Swords in reverse as well. And the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. Okay. So what I'm getting from this is I kind of want to read it like a timeline, in terms of sort of key events that Spirit wants you to be aware of and key sort of lessons that Spirit wants you to sort of gather in the next year or so. It feels a little bit, now that I'm in the energy, it feels like a little bit longer than a year, so not exactly 12 months, that these things will come into fruition because you have some powerful divine intervention um, with the major arcana cards in the reverse, and I'm seeing this as like potential energies. So it's kind of like the universe is setting you up on like a choose your own adventure. And if you are brave enough, is what I'm hearing, like brave enough to reach the calling or to like match the calling and match the vibration, then like the opportunity and abundance will be so like I'm hearing unlimited potential for you. Um, but if not, then it's not like the universe will take it away because that's not what, the universe does. It just means that it's delayed and your path to the ultimate opportunity, which is what I'm reading like the Wheel of Fortune to be, will just be a little bit more delayed than if you take like this direct path. So it feels very much so like the universe is calling you to take the most direct and straightforward path possible. So I would keep that in mind if I were you. And so with the Five of Pentacles and the Five of Wands, it seems like currently the energy that you're in right now feels like one of disalignment. And from that, it feels like there are certain aspects of your life where you're not where you want to be and you're not living in the version of yourself that you know is sort of like next, if that makes sense. Um, and so if you sit down and think about, you not even like 5 years from now, oh yeah, let's go with 5 years from now, and the steps that you want, like the version of you, you're not sort of living in line with the steps that you need to take to manifest that version, right? There's one thing to see it and visualize it. And then the next step is always about the embodiment, and knowing that, we may not be at the version of ourselves yet, but what are the qualities that we can start to embody? Because another sort of lesson, particularly with the deep replenishment that Spirit wants you to know, is everything that you're seeking already exists inside of you. So the discipline that you're looking for exists inside of you. The patience that you're looking for exists inside of you. The empathy that you're looking for exists inside of you. It may not be to the level because there are certain skills and practices that, come when we embody, and that's sort of what makes the embodiment more tangible, and more realistic, is because we sort of live in practice, and with practice, like with anything, we just get better at it over time. Um, so for example, like when it comes to like working out, and you're somebody that doesn't like to work out, and you just start with like 1 day a week or a small movement here, or like going on a daily walk, and then over time you build in that discipline, you build in that routine, and it kind of moves into being like something that you think about doing to an automated response. So it kind of lends you to practice. And that's kind of what, like, the misalignment that's happening here. And it's not necessarily in terms of the way you look or the people that are around you, but in terms of how you show up for yourself, because it seems, oh, oh, okay. that there have been a lot of promises that you've made yourself that you haven't kept. And that's truly where the energy of disalignment is coming from, is in those promises that you have not kept um yours to yourself. So, oh, with justice in reverse, one thing that, sorry, a date just came to me with the 3 and the 11, so I think March 11th or November 3rd will be a significant date for you. So you might want to mark that down. But with the justice in reverse, what is there going there's going to be this opportunity and its invitation from spirit to come into alignment with your most authentic self. So again, I think this is going to come in terms of like a mirror, and a person who mirrors you. So justice always gives me very much, and it is like the Libra card, like the balance, the scales, and I'm a Libra. These are my Libra nails. Shout out to Fairy Press-ons. But the balance and the mirror that comes um, when you're in relationship with a person or a community that reflects sort of parts of yourself that I don't want to say that you're in denial of, because it doesn't necessarily feel like, for the most part, you guys lack self-awareness. It's just not, it might be more of like a self-cognizance, um, which what I mean by that is that there are parts that you've not really, you know, are there, but you haven't really examined. And through a relationship that comes into your life, for some of you, it could be romantic. Some of you, it could be friends, it could be family, it could be a coworker situation. That mirror comes up, and it's sort of like, I'm hearing a harsh mirror. So it's not just going to reflect back like the parts of you that, you like and enjoy. Um, but it's going to be the parts of you that you didn't know you needed to work on, or ones that you've kind of like avoided and just accepted as who you are. And spirit is going to ask you with that mirror, is this who you are, like, really? Like, and that's going to be the question. The question is going to be in the really. And for some of you, the answer will be yes. And it's about, okay, instead of keeping this part of you and this part of this personality like tucked away, how do you bring this to the fore? And for others, it's going to be about healing and recognizing that this aspect of you that you thought was so deeply ingrained was a response to something that you learned either through like a family, or some of you might have been a trauma response, or a response to, it's like, hyper independence and not really being able to rely on people who are around you. Um, and saying, okay, what does, and spirit is asking you to bring this part into part of your personality, part of you, into alignment and into harmony, and saying, okay, like, what is it if we accept this? What is it if we work through this? What is it if we accept the truth of this is the opposite, or the truth of it is as it exists right now? And you are the only person who can answer that question, which is why the justice is in reverse, because it's the delicious invitation that the universe is offering to you as something that you can integrate or not. Um, and again, ultimately, that's up to you. With the Three of Swords here, in reverse, what I'm getting is that this is going to be a very emotional and like not the most fun time for you. It's going to like lead to a lot of like emotional turmoil, uh, and processing, because it's not something that you've done before. And I think we have to again like give ourselves compassion, because this is our first time um in this life and in this body, in this existence as we know it in the 3D. And so as much as that we're souls having like a human experience, um, for a lot of us, like it's still there's still a lot of firsts because it's the first time you incarnated as this version of you and this version, this iteration of your soul. Um, and so, like, we have to give ourselves a lot of grace. And sometimes that's not the most easiest things to do because we're always like thinking that we should know better. Um, but it very much is, about giving ourselves that grace to say we're doing the best we can, and moving through this very transformative and also like hard time. Like, there's just no easy way to put it besides this is going to be really hard, and it's not going to feel the most comfortable, but what the relationship will do is like provide that reflection. And for some of you it could be like a good sort of like, oh, if I accept this part of myself, like this is the life that I can live, and it can be very aspirational. And to others, for those of you who answer the question with like the really that the universe is asking you with a no, then the universe is saying this is kind of the outcome that we want to avoid. So what are the things, what are the practices? How do you come most in line with your authentic self? And with the wheel of fortune in reverse is like, if you do this work, this is a promise that the universe will make. There is a whole new world and a whole new range of opportunities that are going to be making themselves available to you, um, when the opportunities are always going to be there. And it kind of feels like I'm hearing like right under your nose. So for some of you, it's going to be like, oh, I never realized, like down my house, there was this studio, and I, I have always wanted to try pottery making. And now I realize that I've been walking past the studio for the last 2 years because I've lived here the last 2 years and walked by this route, but your eyes are being opened up to this whole new world. It's kind of like when you learn a word or like a concept, and then like within the weeks of following and the days following, like you hear that everywhere, and you're like, whoa, I swear I've never heard this like word before or heard this concept before, and now it seems like everybody's talking about it. Um, and that's really what it feels like because you come into alignment, like you've unlocked this portal. So it's very likely going to be for the vast majority of you, like it'll open your eyes to see your existing world in a new way. And Spirit will also be bringing in like brand new opportunities, but it's such a beautiful energy, when we can come into our mode aligned and authentic selves. So, my pile number ones, this is all the messages I have for you today. Thank you so, so much for letting me read for you. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day whenever you're watching, and I hope you come join me next time. Bye. Hi, Pal Twos. Welcome to your reading. So, today we are talking about Spirit's messages for you and guidance for the upcoming year. So, this can be the next 12 months from whenever you're watching. I'm leaving this quite open because I really want Spirit to come and give you whatever messages that you're meant to hear and guidance for the next 12 months. So, I've pre shuffled your Oracle cards. You've got two crystal cards, more than any other group. They came out together. And you chose the cloudy quartz. I think I said clear quartz in the intro. I'll fix that. Yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. So we have emotions are running high, supermoon, transformation, things are healing at a deep level, at a cellular level, deep healing. And then for your two crystal cards, you've got perseverance, turquoise, earth element, black tourmaline, regeneration, Pluto. Ooh. Okay, so some initial, make sure this is in frame. Some initial feelings I'm getting. So before I even flipped over your cards, I got a sense that this is my relationship, how something significant is happening in your partnerships, your romantic partnerships is more the feeling that I'm getting. But of course, if romantic partnerships aren't your vibe, then whichever close, like your closest bond really that isn't familial. I want to make that distinction. This is nothing, the energy I'm getting has nothing to do with family. And with transformation, regeneration, and Pluto, getting some very delicious synchronicities. If you're watching this at the time or nearest the time that this is uploaded, when it's being filmed, Pluto has just moved into Aquarius. So gone are the days of Pluto and Capricorn. We say mashallah because wow. But we are into Pluto. We're in the age of Aquarius. Um, for timings, because I've been taking the moonology course, it's whenever the next super moon is. So this may be depending on when you're watching this, because again, I want to keep this timeless. I don't really want to say give too specific time frames. Like Pluto is going to be in Aquarius for the next, I believe, 12 years. So as long as you're watching it in like this 12-year period. But again, like Pluto, we're talking about transformation. Pluto has just changed signs, which is something we don't see often. So we're in this new era. We're in this new sort of collective energy. And supermoons again, like they happen, I think annually or just a little bit. So whenever the next one is, so if one has just passed by the time you're coming across this video, then the one sooner than that. So that might be a little bit more than a year, but something's coming to fruition because this is really feeling like something's coming to fruition for you that you've worked really hard on and you've been manifesting. And with perseverance here, particularly what seeing a couple of things. So one of my dear friends has a turquoise necklace, and we were at a birthday party like the not too long ago. And she couldn't remember what crystal she had around her neck. And then she went back home. I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to look this up. And then texted me it's turquoise, and I was like, like I kind of knew it. I was like, it was either like this or this, because it wasn't like a rough turquoise. So I'm thinking of her and her beautiful energy, but also in terms of like remaining hopeful when things look and feel hopeless has been your greatest strength. And this is really what's leading to the transformation because it feels like whatever is happening, whatever is coming into fruition, you have earned this, my love. Like you have earned this because you never gave up. You may have fluctuated, things may. Did you see that? The flame, oh, I really hope the camera picked this up, but the flame sort of split and it gave me a little heart. Oh, I really, really hope the camera picked it up. But yeah, we're manifesting something quite powerful in our love life and in our intimate partnerships. And I can't wait to dive into that energy a little bit more. Now we're gonna look at your tarot. So spirit, what messages? Okay. Spirit, what messages do you have for the upcoming year? Spirit, what messages? Okay, so you've had most of your cards come out together. This is like there's a lot. that needs to be shared with you. Just do a frame check. Okay. So you had three come out together, then one. Um, so you had the Five of Pentacles, the Wheel of Fortune in reverse, Judgment, the Star, the Page of Wands, and the Four of Cups in the reverse. I want to pull a clarifier. For the Five of Cups and the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. We have got the Two of Wands in reverse. And it's the Six of Swords. Okay. You've got a lot of major arcana. This doesn't really feel like a timeline, to be honest, with you. But it's just some key sort of things that Spirit wants you to keep in mind. So if I read them in terms of what came out together versus what didn't. So starting off with the Five of Pentacles and the Wheel of Fortune in reverse and the Judgment in reverse. It feels like, and with the Two of Wands and the Six of Wands in reverse, clarifying the Wheel of Fortune and the Five of Pentacles. So starting off with Judgment, first, it feels like there's been a call that you have been trying to answer. Um, and something that you've been trying really hard to move towards that hasn't really been coming to fruition. And with the Wheel of Fortune, it really feels like you've been trying to end a chapter of your life and move into one where you feel more connected, and feel like you have more options because it feels like it's really just I'm trying to make this as general as possible, but I'm going to start with what feels easiest to go over, which is the Two of Wands. This really just feels like partnership energy. Um, you've been doing the work and been feeling like you're moving towards something, but that hasn't quite materialized as of yet. Um, and this seems like the current energy that like you're in, where you have some pretty big wishes and pretty big like soul contracts that you feel have currently been unfulfilled. And you're sort of waiting in anticipation for that. With the Star here, uh, what Spirit is promising is that your wish is coming true. Like your greatest wish, your deepest heart desire is going to be coming through in the next 12 months. And it feels like this wish has to do with a partnership that helps you emotionally, with some deep emotional knowing and some deep emotional truths. Um, and really, what it just feels like is like a divine counterpart situation, um, with the potential for this to be your life partner. It feels like that's the biggest transformation, is that you're coming into this period of ease where it feels like you've done a lot of like uphill battles and a lot of uphill works, and you're ready to come into this period of ease and restfulness, I'm hearing. And so, like, that seems to be what's being mirrored for you with Pluto moving out of Capricorn and moving out into Aquarius. And I would check if you know your birth time, which houses Pluto will be transiting and which houses the transit recently came out of, to provide some clarity and guidance. So, like, for me, like, Pluto was transiting my seventh house. Uh, so, like, this is really like the visual I'm seeing is that, like, you're moving out of this period of hardship. And in particular, like your romantic and like close partnerships and in contracts and moving into this period of ease, which I really, really love for you because Spirit is saying that everything that you have been trying to manifest, everything that you have seen as the greatest vision will start to come into fruition. So it's not saying by the end of the year. So you've got the Six of Cups, clarifying the stars. So again, about that like soul connection, I always see this as like a very deep romantic soul tie. Uh, but again, if you're not, romantically inclined, then I would just take this as a very intimate relationship. And intimate does not mean sexual, by the way. It just means like close in nature. And so this is very much the vibe that I'm seeing for you. And with the 6 and the 17 here, I'm seeing June 17th as a very, oh, that's somebody I know's birthday, but June 17th is as a very significant date for you. So there should be a June coming up in the next 12 months. So if not, maybe a little bit after, but there should be for the most part. So I'd say that would be an important time frame. And maybe that's around the time when your next supermoon is. So you kind of have those two to balance each other out. With the Page of Wands here, it feels like in like this new era almost, but like it just really feels like you're moving into this energy of ease. And with the Four of Cups in reverse, you're being quite picky. So, like, if those of you who are familiar with tarot, like in the traditional Rider Waite, the Four of Cups, there's this person sitting in front of a tree, sees three cups spilled, and then a cup's, coming out, and that's like the hand of spirit, hand of the universe, ushering in and being like, oh, here, but they're so focused on this, on the cups that have fallen over. But what I'm really getting is that you're being more picky about the opportunities that you want to pursue because you moved into this energy of ease. It's no longer, I feel like I need to try this, this, and this because, I'm chasing this star, like I'm chasing this new portal that I know is existing, that exists for me. I'm sorry, sometimes when I channel, I get super tongue-tied, and that is the case today. But you're not doing any and everything because you're chasing after a dream and wish. It's because you now are starting to see the manifestations of what you have worked for and longed for so long that you are moving out of the scarcity mindset to say, like, I am only going to pursue the things that feel right with the environment and the partnerships that I have right now. Um, so for example, it could have been in the past, like when, you were dating, like you were a person who liked to keep their options open as a way to protect your heart. Because it's like I don't want to invest too quickly in something and then have it not work out and then just feel like I'm starting over. But it could be that spirit presents you with this wonderful person. There's just something inside you that says that this feels right and this feels aligned with who I am right now, and then you meet somebody super hot, um, like at the same time, and the old version of you would have been like, oh yeah, like I'll entertain this, like why not, this is fun. The new version of you and the version and the way that you're transforming is to have more of that laser focus to say, you know what, I really like this person, and that's where I'm choosing to invest my energy in. I don't have to accept everything. Um, And like if this was a traditional Rider Waite, like the person would be seeing like the cup extended and disregarding like the cups that are fallen over. So it really just feels like you're just discarding what isn't for you to just be very selective. Like you're coming into this very, very selective and very, very choosy energy, which I love. And I see some like really strong romantic partnerships coming through in relationships. Just want to pull one more, see about your. Oh, we got the King of Cups. So a high level of commitment is coming for you within the end of this year. So for those of you where this is a romantic partnership, what I'm seeing is like the steps towards marriage or long-term commitment, if that's what you're into. Um, Whether or not that's, just moving in together or meeting each other's family, or for those of you where this isn't romantic, it could be still moving in together because you can live with friends. It could be a business partnership, contracts being signed, a business being built, a product going to market. So something that is very tangible, but also with the King of Cups, like balances that divine, like masculine energy with that, like emotional wisdom. I think to close off your reading, what I want to do that I did not do in the beginning, forgot, is to read off some guidance from your crystal tarot or your crystal oracle. So you have two. I'm going to go with regeneration. Oh, regeneration. It's 11 and 12. They're right back to back. Wow. Okay. Um, So, regeneration is the act of physically and spiritually becoming new. It is literally and figuratively shedding skin so you can change and grow. When you're on a path towards enlightenment, it causes you to lead a life you did not lead before. You begin to change your behaviors, thoughts, actions, and reactions and regenerate your spirit. You need to realize, though, that in order to experience your regeneration, you have to put in the work, and a lot of this work pertains to your shadow self. When working on your shadow self, you will be prompted to face your darkness, any deep rooted emotions that may have been compartmentalized, so you can put on a brave face. One planet that relates all too well to regeneration and challenging your shadow self is Pluto. Larger than life, omnipotent, alchemical Pluto has a force that is among the most intense of all the heavenly bodies in the solar system. If life seems like a personal hell, look to Pluto for help, but don't expect him to do the heavy lifting for you. Pluto reveals your vices, addictions, and your own undoing. But like a phoenix rising from the ashes, he can show you all the way how to transform that lead into gold. This will always involve a symbolic death. Remember that you're dealing with the ruler of Hades. Something must be released in order for something new to be born. Pluto knows that nothing ever really dies and that simply transmutes into another form and regenerates. When experiencing powerful regeneration, it's essential to use an equally powerful stone to provide purification and protection you require. Black tourmaline is a potent grounding stone that will shield you from any negativity in any form. It takes negative energies from your person and environment to transmute them into positive and energy then emits that new higher vibration. So yeah, I think that's it's what a beautiful message. And I feel very much that this is sort of the energy that you've been in for some time. And the regeneration and the transmutation that's occurring is moving into this energy of ease because you've put in the work, you've done the shadow work, you've healed, you've learned, and now you can come out of it most aligned. And I feel like the biggest heart wish and heart desire is a very significant partnership that's coming for you, that's been promised, and that you've done the work to align yourself with. So I'm very excited and very proud of you, my angel. So with that, that is all the messages that I'm seeing for your reading today. Thank you so much for letting me read for you. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day and see you next time. Bye. Hi, Pal 3. Welcome to your reading. So today's reading is all about spirit guide messages for the next 12 months, next year period. So just some messages from spirit. So I've intentionally left this reading very, very open just to see what comes through for you, what's important. It might be information about your manifestations. It might be a timeline. Each group has been very different so far. So yeah, I just left it super open-ended. You guys chose the Malachite, and I've pre-shuffled your oracles, which will give us a sense of what the main messages are, and then I'll pull some tarot for information. So without further ado, let's get into it. So for your oracle cards, you have full moon in Capricorn, the end of a tough cycle approaches. Warrior woman, have you answered your deepest calling? Sunstone, deep knowing, sacral chakra. And I almost use my sacral chakra for, not my sacral chakra, I almost use my sunstone for today's reading. So yeah, that's so interesting. I just couldn't find it. That's why it didn't get used. Um, so I think this might be more of a career reading, but we'll see. I am going to read from the guidebook. I'm going to do it in order this time because for the last like group number two, I just lost myself in the reading. So the Crystal Oracle deck, so for important time frames, so we've got full moon in Capricorn. So if you're watching this at the time, near the time of the reading, like the full moon in Capricorn was earlier in January of 2024. So it would be about the same time frame, like in 2025. So we're looking for the next time that it would happen. Then as well as I'm going to pull some guidance from, or read some guidance from the guidance book about the sacral chakra. I'm feeling very, very like tongue tied, uh, and not like my thoughts are very clear. Doesn't happen to me that often when I'm channeling, but we'll see. So, So we have deep knowing, sunstone, wisdom, focus, and being centered. Deep knowing is intuitively based knowledge on a profound level of trusting your gut, of trusting all of your senses, and trusting what cannot always be tangibly be seen. There is no need to be searching for the answers externally as they lie within you. You have the ability to unlock your own mysteries and access ancient divine knowledge to invoke wisdom, surpass limitations, and receive powerful downloads to not only raise your own energetic vibrations, but also those of the collective. You'll need to hold focus and allow space within your sacral chakra to remain open to receiving these vibrations. This is the center of your essence, emotional, creative, and sexual energies. By using Sunstone, you can begin to break these barriers as Sunstone contains the energetic frequency of empowerment. Sunstone promotes self healing and encourages you to sit within your intuitive, deep knowing self and stand strong within your confidence to trust what you feel yet cannot see. So, I have a couple more messages for you. So, if you collect crystals, it could be that Sunstone is calling you to work with it more in the upcoming 12-month period. And it could also be, if it's missing from your collection, that it's inviting you to let it in to support you. But especially with sacral chakra, if you guys are on TikTok, there's this creator who does like sacral chakra, like alignment videos. which I love, and I always do them every single time they pop up in my feed. Um, they do some content mainly around like human design. So if you're into that, I would look into it a bit more, or maybe this is again an invitation from the universe to seek out more information about human design. Um, but they ask a bunch of questions around just some random statements, and you can't sort of answer with words. I cannot remember the creator's name or tag, but hold on, let me find it. Okay, so looked up the name of the creator. Their name is Reiki Marco. They do sacral calibrations on TikTok, and um, the way they describe it is a really good tool to become more attuned and to become more aligned with your sacral. So if you look at your human design, some people will have an undefined gut or an undefined sacral, and a defined gut and defined sacral. And the sacral chakra again is about like our creative and sexual energy. And I think, let me not embarrass myself. I was going to say which chakra number it is, but I'm not going to look that up in time. But yeah, you guys can look that up. When I feel like something doing something like a sacral calibration. I only mentioned Reiki Marco because that's the one that's the person that introduced me to it. And I've really been enjoying doing that beyond the sacral calibrations. I'm not really as familiar with their content, so I can't speak for it from any other aspect from that. So a little bit of a disclaimer there. But yeah, I feel like with the full moon in Capricorn and the end of a tough cycle sort of like approaching, uh, you're closing. A lot of the groups have had very similar messages about moving out of periods of hardships, but uh, again, this really feels like a career or a divine calling or project. For some of you, I think it might be a project that's more sort of spiritually inclined, just because we've been moving out of like the age of Capricorn and moving into the age of Aquarius. So I really, really do feel like this is kind of like the next steps for all of us is to move into more of an Aquarian energy, but for you guys in specific. So with that, let us pull some tarot. So Spirit, what messages do you have for group number 3 for the upcoming messages for group number 3? Messages. Yeah. I have to say, your group is the only group whose cards came out one at a time. And I kind of appreciate that. I kind of really appreciate that. So let's see what you have. So you've got the Chariot in reverse, the Fool in reverse, the Two of Cups in the upright, the Knight of Cups, and the Sun. So a lot of divine intervention, which is what we'd hope to see in a message from Spirit type reading for the next 12 months. So this feels more like advice. So I'm not really getting a lot of information about what the 12 months sort of have in store for you. I think Spirit is, again, saying that that's ultimately up to you. And I feel with the sun, especially with it being underneath the warrior woman. It's again just sort of spirit always wants us to be in some sort of alignment, but specifically in alignment with our higher selves, and then merging like the spiritual with the physical side. I think they both have value, and I think sometimes we try and like overvalue the physical over the spiritual because it's like more tangible versus, sometimes we try and overvalue the spiritual because, we feel like that's the highest and truest version of yourself. But really, it's about coming into some sort of balance and harmony, um, and recognizing that there's multiplicity in the way that we are as beings, in the way that we connect, and the way that we experience the world, which is through like the 3D and 5D dimensions. And so there is space and room for both, and acting like there isn't is just going to keep us in a lot of very icky sort of energy. So I think like what spirit is saying ultimately with the sun, which is kind of where I want to start, is that there is going to be like a beautiful unfolding. You're going to have a very beautiful year. And so I'm not seeing a lot of difficulties that spirit is trying to highlight. And this isn't to say that, everything will be like smooth sailing and you won't have hard times, but it feels like the hard times will be sort of bumps in the road in terms of your recovery of it. So, and the lessons that you learn. And by the small bumps, I mean that you're very quickly able to integrate like the lessons that come to the fore through whatever challenges that you may face. So gone are the days. So again, with like the tough cycle approaches of very hard lessons, because I know for me, um, like I've gone through periods of my life where my guys in spirit get very tough love, very heavy handed. And it's like, we're going to force you to learn this lesson no matter how many times it takes, no matter how painful it is, because this is something you need to learn. And you're not in that energy. So challenges will come up, but you'll be able to look at the situation and very clearly and confidently say, ask, be like, what is this situation teaching me? What was this connection? What was this lesson? And be like, oh, it was, around trusting my gut. It was, around being open to love. It was around celebrating life and being grateful for the time that we had together. It's around, recognizing when it's better to be apart, and recognizing sometimes we just got to let go of certain paths to be able to open ourselves up to new opportunities. So things like that, like it doesn't really feel like the lessons that you're integrating are going to take a lot of tries for you to get. I think you're going to be able to very, very clearly see that from very on, which is again like gives this whole energy of fulfillment and alignment. Uh, Also seeing with the chariot and the fool, spirit wants to let you know that things will move quite quickly for you in this new season that you're entering into. So I'm seeing like the reversals today as like hidden potentials and things that are coming up. So energy that hasn't quite manifested at this present moment in time, but that will as things sort of progress. With the chariot, Cancerian energy, very, very much like, let's get this done, let's get to it. So I want to say that Cancer season, Cancer and Capricorn season, because those two signs are in opposition. So those are the two seasons that are going to be the most significant for you in this next year. Uh, but with the chariot, it's really about fast moving energy. And that's basically what spirit is saying is like things are going to move very quickly for you. The hard times won't be as hard and the challenges won't be as challenging as they have because you evolved and matured in a certain way and level. Which again just speaks to your growth. So I'm super proud of you, pal number three. So I hope you're proud of yourselves. Um, with the Two of Cups here, I'm seeing a very significant romantic partnership coming in for you, or a significant partnership. For, I think it's very 50-50. For some of you, it's just going to be like a soul family reunion or union. For others, it's going to be like a romantic union that's coming up. Spirit's not really giving much details about it, but just saying like keep your eye out and your heart open to these types of connections. Again, because I feel like what Spirit really wants you to let go of is the outcome. Mm, that's why the deep knowing was there, because I feel like your intuition often gets blocked, or you get blocked from receiving messages from your intuition because you're constantly worried about the outcome and how certain actions will manifest. And, like if I make a left here and another right here, like will I end up at my destination? And Spirit's really calling you to enjoy the journey. So, same with this partnership that is coming in for you, no matter what the end result is. It's just about enjoying the journey and about, appreciating the opportunity to connect with another soul and another human being. Again, like if this is another quick disclaimer, if you meet somebody who's super toxic, this is not who this message applies to. What this is sort of like a divine connection. So someone who makes you feel good, someone that you can learn something from, and potentially somebody that can help you advance in some way, whether that be in your career, as I like initially sort of thought, or that was a strong sense I was getting from this pile, was that it was sort of had a thing to do with your career. So it's somebody who opens you up to an opportunity, um, that isn't going to take more than what they give to you. So if you meet somebody, this is going to be the very like the key thing to know which two of cups partnership or partnerships that are coming for you. So it's not going to be somebody that takes from you more than they give, and vice versa. So you'll be very much like in alignment. So they'll speak kind of the same language. So if you're facing difficulties at work, for example, and they offer to help you out, and then you offer to help them out at a later point, like there will be some sort of equilibrium. It won't always be like a tit for tat, but there will be an equilibrium, and that's kind of how you'll know that it's this person that you are supposed to be, or that's like the divine connection. And again, the lesson here from Spirit is really, really, and I can't stress this enough, just enjoy the journey, let go of the outcome, really take the person at face value and take the connection at face value, and say what like a beautiful experience and beautiful opportunity that exists in front of both of us to connect with each other in this aspect for however long we have. Because Spirit is being very, very, because normally like I'm very nosy and be like, oh, like what is this? Tell me more. And Spirit's like, no, no, no. This is all the information you get. We're not pulling any more. We're not pulling any clarifiers. This is this is it. This is all they need to know, because it's really about coming into alignment, um, with your intuition, and like, you know, sacral calibration can be a way to do that. But the universe is really just asking you to let go of control. And I know that can feel really scary, but it's what you're being called to do. And if you can manage to do that, then you will experience like this ease that's promised. And I feel like you'll be very optimistic. This feels like you're moving in an energy of love and gratitude, and being loved quite equally by like the people who come into your life, which is very exciting. I think like you have such a beautiful like year if you can let go. And I think you're just on the precipice. I think this is a lesson that you've learned a while ago, and are just sort of coming to the end of to be able to move into this energy. It doesn't feel like you're going to spend the next 12 months working through that, but for some of you, I imagine it might be because it is a general reading. Uh, but yeah, I think that is all the messages that I have for you, my pile number threes. Thank you so much for letting me read for you. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your day and hope to see you next time. Bye.